6:51, time for the morning sprint.
An update out of La Crosse. The police department releasing the autopsy report for Sun Prairie graduate Hamoud Fall. The medical examiner says he died of drowning and had a high level of alcohol in his system. Fall went missing last February. Crews found his body in the Mississippi a month later. The 25-year-old was a psychology student at UWL.
The race for governor, now the most expensive in state history. The Wisconsin Democracy Campaign says spending as of last week by Governor Evers and Republican challenger Tim Michels and special interests is about $115 million. The previous record was $93 million set in 2018. So far, Governor Evers has spent about $37 million compared to $24.5 million by Michels, and advocacy groups have spent just over $45 million.
Political heavyweights are crisscrossing the country this morning, urging Americans to vote in the midterm elections. President Biden campaigns in Illinois today, while former Presidents Trump and Obama will both be in Pennsylvania on Saturday. State and local officials say next week's results will be accurate, but it might take some time before the winners are known.
Police say a person's in custody after crashing into two law enforcement vehicles. This all happened while trying to escape a police chase. You got this push alert yesterday if you have our news app. It happened between West Broadway and John Nolan exits on the Beltline westbound. Authorities say the suspect got out of the vehicle and ran away before trying to carjack a taxi at a nearby business. Police took him into custody a short time later. Two MPD officers were injured in the incident and hospitalized as a precaution.
Dane County is currently facing an affordable housing crisis, with 7% of households spending over 50% of their income on their home. Habitat for Humanity trying to change that in 18 local communities. They're teaming up with Ready Mix Concrete to build more than 50 sustainable concrete homes in all 50 states over the next 5 years.
Iconic boy bands from the 90s are joining up for a holiday performance in Wisconsin. 98 Degrees, O-Town, All for One, and Ryan Cabrera all joining up for Boy Band Christmas. They'll play the Potawatomi Casino in Milwaukee, December 20th.
The Badger volleyball team's incredible season continues this morning as their win streak stretches to 11. In Illinois last night, they were hoping to redeem themselves. During their last meetup, the Badgers had to take an unranked team to 5 sets to win. Last night, though, Big Ten Player of the Week Sarah Franklin led the way with the team-high 14 kills to help them win in 3. They'll return home to host Indiana on Sunday.
We Energies is asking for a 13% rate hike from the State Public Service Commission. The energy company says most of the money they need is for projects already approved or proposed to protect the grid from severe weather. But at a public hearing in Milwaukee last night, customers said that it was going to further marginalize communities and force some people to choose between putting food on their table or energy in their homes.
Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, is back home this morning. He's out of the hospital after surgery to repair a skull fracture and injuries to his arm and hands. David DePape is charged with breaking into Pelosi's home and attacking him with the hammer last week. He's pleading not guilty. DePape is also facing a federal charge for trying to kidnap a U.S. official.
The Brooklyn Nets have suspended Kyrie Irving for at least 5 games without pay. It's all over the, quote, harmful impact of his conduct, the team says, after posting a link to an anti-Semitic movie on Twitter. According to the Nets, in a press conference yesterday, Irving refused to unequivocally say that he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. After the suspension, Kyrie posted a lengthy apology on social media.
NASA is prepping its Artemis 1 rocket for another launch attempt after multiple failed tries over the last year or so. The 322-foot rocket is being slowly rolled from the vehicle assembly building to the launch pad, a 4-mile journey. Right now, it's scheduled for November 14th. When Artemis does lift off, it'll send an unpiloted capsule on a 37-day trip around the moon. It's the first step towards sending Americans back to the moon.
And we have 2 alert days right now in effect. One is the rain, heavy rain for today and through tonight, 1 to 3 inches. Some areas maybe even 4 inches, so it's going to be quite beneficial. Winds tomorrow, that's the alert day for tomorrow for the winds. And then mild conditions, even though it's going to rain, it's not going to cool off that much. Bus stop looks okay as you pick up. It's going to be wet, and then very wet as we go to the afternoon, evening hours along with that. High school football playoff tonight, it's going to be a wet one. I know we've stretched to great weather, but tonight's going to be a little bit different with the weather conditions that we speak of, but the mild conditions should last through next week. It's actually not going to cool off that much with the next system approaching by the end of next week.
Okay, Greg Barnhart, thank you very much. We're going to keep an eye on those alert day forecasts again for today and tomorrow throughout the day here. Stay with us for another local news and weather update coming up in half an hour. Have a great Friday, everybody.